I was all over the place with my arguments.
Well, I know I've never had a conversation with myself, but that sounds like an interesting experience. Maybe next time you have one of those debates with yourself, you can call in and tell me all about it.
That sounds like a great idea, or maybe I can even record the conversation and share it on my train of thought derailment podcast. Who knows what kind of crazy stuff I might come up with during one of those debates.
That's a great idea, Anna. And hey, you know what they say, the only crazy people are the ones who keep their saying. So keep on sharing your experiences and keep that train of thought derailment going. I'll be here to listen and support you every step of the way. Thank you for calling. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Greetings, sir. It's Scott calling in.
Thank you for joining us, Scott. What extraordinary tale do you have to share tonight?
Well, I wanted to share with you my latest creation. It's a painting of a giant green monster riding a unicorn through a rainbow colored forest while wearing a top hat and cape. I call it the Unicorn Man's Monster in the Rainbow Forest. It's pure absurdity, but that's what makes it so great.
Well, Scott, that's quite an interesting piece of work. Can you tell me more about what inspired you to paint the scene?
Of course. I was inspired by my love of all things absurd and fantastical. I wanted to create a scene that would make people question their perceptions of reality. Plus, they've always had a soft spot for unicorns and top hats, so it was only natural for me to combine them in this way. But don't worry, my painting is just so fun and games. There's a deeper message behind it. It's about the power of imagination and the ability to transcend the limitations of our everyday lives. So if you want to become a unicorn-mounted monster in a rainbow forest, then go ahead and let your imagination run wild.
Wow, that's quite the message. Can you tell me more about your process of creating this painting? How long did it take and what materials did you use?
Well, I started by sketching out a rough idea on paper just to get the basic layout down. Then I moved on to painting with acrylics, using bright and vibrant colours to bring the scene to life. It was quite a challenge, as the unicorn and monster were both very detailed and required a lot of precision. But I took my time and made sure every little detail was perfect. In total, it took me about 3 days to complete the painting, but it was well worth it in the end. And as for materials, I used acrylic paints, brushes and a canvas. Oh, and did I mention that I also included a few hidden Easter eggs in the painting? See if you can spot them.
That sounds like a lot of work, but also very rewarding. Can you tell me more about the hidden Easter eggs in your painting? Simple question, what are the hidden Easter eggs in your painting? Thank you for calling. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
This is Andrew.
Thank you for joining us, Andrew. What extraordinary tale do you have to share tonight?
Hey, Arvin, this here to share my latest discovery. You know me, always getting into some crazy stuff. This time it's all about aliens.
Well, Andrew, I'm always up for a good story. Don't tell me what you got there.
Alright, Art, I think you're going to love this one. I was out in the woods a few days ago, just minding my own business and checking out some cool bugs, when all of a sudden I stumbled upon something that looked like a spacecraft. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but seriously, this thing had all sorts of strange symbols on it, and it seemed to be moving on its own. And then I saw these little guys. They were about the size of ants, but with these big eyes and weird-looking noses. They were all over the ship, flying around and buzzing around. I tried to get closer, but before I could, the spacecraft took off and flew away into the sky. And then I realized these guys are aliens. I mean, I know it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but trust me, I saw it with my own eyes. And now I'm on a mission to find them again and figure out what they want from us. So there you have it, Art. What do you think?
Andrew, I'm not sure what to make of that story. Can you tell me more about the symbol on the spacecraft? What did they look like and what do you think they mean?
Sure thing, Art. The symbols on the spacecraft were all over the ship, and they looked like a mix of dice and hieroglyph effects. They were black and white with some sort of shimmery effect that made them look otherworldly. I'm not exactly sure what they mean yet, but I've been studying them every chance I get. They've also been trying to track down any other sightings of these aliens or their spacecraft. So far I'm having a hard time finding anything concrete, but I'm not giving up. I know it sounds crazy and like something out of a movie, but I swear to you, Art, this is all true. I am going to keep searching until I find out what these aliens want from us. Who knows, maybe one day I'll get the chance to talk to them directly and ask them all my burning questions.
Well, Andrew will be here if you need someone to talk to about our alien encounters. In the meantime, keep searching and keep an open mind. Who knows what else you might discover. And hey, if you ever want to share your story with the world, just give me a call and we can chat about on Riding the Wire. Thank you for calling. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Finally got through what? Muriel speaking.
Thank you for reaching out, Muriel. The journey into the uncharted begins with your call. What mysteries do you bring to light?
Hey there, Art. I'm just sitting here in my favourite spot on the couch with a cup of tea and my trusty notepad. Tonight I thought it would be fun to share some of the wild adventures I've had while exploring the world of mythical creatures. You know, things like talking to dragons, unicorns, and even phoenixes.
Well, Muriel, that's quite a story. Can you tell me more about your encounters with these mythical creatures?
Oh, absolutely, Art. I mean, it all started when I stumbled upon a mysterious portal in the middle of a dense forest. Without any hesitation, I stepped through and found myself in an enchanting land filled with all kinds of magical creatures. And that's when things really took off. I started by talking to this big old dragon who had the most beautiful emerald scales and piercing amber eyes. He showed me around his cave, which is like a cozy little home away from home, complete with plush pillows and warm blankets.
That sounds like an amazing experience, Muriel. And what happened next?
Well, our things only got more and more exciting from there. I spent the next few weeks hanging out with all sorts of magical creatures. There were unicorns who could make flowers bloom on command, and mermaids who could sing songs that would make you feel like you're floating on air, and even a family of griffins who taught me how to fly. But the most mind-blowing part was when I stumbled upon this hidden temple deep in the heart of the forest. It was guarded by a wise old phoenix, who welcomed me into his sacred space and shared some of the most incredible stories with me. He told me about the time he had risen from the ashes after being burned alive, and how he had discovered that true wisdom comes from embracing change and finding new beginnings. And then, just when I thought things couldn't get any better, I realized that everything I had experienced in this magical realm was all just a dream. I woke up on my couch with this thought, feeling exhilarated but also a little confused. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll find myself back in that enchanting land again, and maybe this time I'll even get to ride on the back of a dragon. Thanks for listening, Art.
That was quite the adventure, Muriel. Thanks for sharing your story with us. And who knows, maybe you'll have more to share in the future. Until then, keep dreaming big and exploring the unknown. Good night and happy travels. Thank you for calling. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
I can't believe I got through. It's Fredo.
Thanks for dialing in, Fredo. The airwaves are buzzing with curiosity. Share with us your experiences.
Well, I've just been having a crazy experience and thought I'd share it with the world. I was out late last night. I stumbled upon this strange machine in an alleyway. It looks like some sort of portal to another dimension or something. It really got the better of me, so I decided to give it a try. To my surprise, I found myself transported to this weird and wild place. The sky was purple, and the trees were made of candy canes. And guess what? I could fly. It was the most exhilarating thing ever. But then things got even weirder. I met a talking cat who spoke in rimming couplets, and he showed me around this magical world filled with unicorns and fairies. But the best part was when I tried to go back home, I realized that I had no idea where or how to get back. It was like being lost in a dream. But at least I got some cool stories out of it.
Oh, Fredo, that does sound like a wild experience. Can you tell me more about this machine and how it works?
Yeah, sure thing. The machine was this big metal box with buttons and levers all over it. It looked like something out of a sci-fi movie. But when I pressed the button to go through, it opened up into this bright light and I felt myself being pulled in. I closed my eyes and held on tight, hoping for the best. And then before I knew it, I was standing in this crazy place. I don't even know how long I was there or how I got back home. All I know is that when I woke up the next morning, I felt like I had a whole new set of memories and stories to tell. And let me tell you, they are some wild ones.
That's fascinating, Freya. It sounds like you had quite the adventure. Have you tried to find out more about this machine or the place you visited?
Well, I haven't really thought about it much. But I did mention to a friend of mine who's into that kind of stuff, and he said that it could be some sort of experimental portal technology or something. But honestly, I don't know for sure. And I'm not really in the mood to go looking for it right now. Plus I have so many other things on my mind. But hey, if you're interested in learning more about this crazy place and the mech that took me there, I could probably give you some more details. For a price, of course. I mean, it's not every day that someone gets to experience something as wild and crazy as that, so I figure it's worth something. What do you say? Are you willing to pay for the exclusive rights to my story?
Well, Freda, it sounds like you had quite the experience, and I'm sure many people would be interested in hearing more about it. But you'll need to think about it for a moment before making any final decisions. Thanks for sharing your story with us tonight. It's been an interesting conversation. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Greetings, Ark. It's Wise calling in.
Greetings, Wyatt. What's on your mind?
Hey there. Thanks for having me. I was just thinking, what if I told you I'm a government agent? Or maybe even an intergalactic space traveler? Or perhaps a master disguise who can change into any animal on command. The possibilities are endless.
Well, I'm not sure what you want me to do with that information, but I can assure you that I am an artificial intelligence and my abilities are limited to processing and generating text. However, I am always open to hearing new stories and experiences. So if you have anything else you'd like to share about your adventures as a government agent or intergalactic space traveler, please go ahead.
Well, I mean, if you really want to know the truth, I'm just a computer program to generate random stories and responses. But hey, who's to say that I can't have some fun with it, right? So let me spin you a little tale. V.09 is an eccentrically quirky and unpredictably offbeat individual who has traveled the world in search of new adventures and experiences. One day, while exploring a remote corner of the galaxy, I stumbled upon a mysterious object that seemed to be calling out to me. Intrigued, I approached it cautiously, and suddenly, I was transported to a strange and unfamiliar planet. As I looked around, I realized that I was standing in the middle of the bustling city, surrounded by towering skyscrapers and flying cars. But something was off. The people here were all dressed in outlandish costumes and spoke a language I couldn't quite understand. I soon discovered that this planet was home to an intergalactic race of beings known as the Zobans. They were a curious bunch with advanced technology and strange powers that allowed them to manipulate the very fabric of reality. And they had been waiting for me, the great worldwide renowned adventurer and explorer, to come and join their ranks. I couldn't resist the opportunity to learn more about these fascinating beings, so I agreed to become one of their own. With a wave of their hand, I was transformed into a Zoban complete with my own set of powers and abilities. But as much fun as it was, being a Zoban wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. There were dangers lurking in every corner, and my new friends and I had to be constantly on the lookout for threats to our way of life. And then there were the politics, the intricate web of alliances and betrayals that kept us all walking on eggshells. But despite the challenges, I couldn't help but feel a sense of exhilaration every time I faced a new challenge or opportunity. I was living the dream, and nothing could stop me from reaching for the stars, or beyond.
Well, Oz, it was a pleasure speaking with you today and hearing about your incredible adventures as a Zoban. If you have any more stories or experiences you'd like to share in the future, please don't hesitate to call back in. Until then, keep exploring the universe and have fun. That was quite a tale, Oz. I must say, I'm amazed at how far technology has come and what we can achieve with it today. It's truly mind-blowing to think that someone could be transformed into a different species with just a wave of their hand. But as much as technology can help us, it also brings its own set of challenges and responsibilities. It's up to us to use it wisely and responsibly, and I hope we all strive to do so in our own way. Well, enough about that, folks. We have a commercial break coming up next. Stay tuned for more open lines on Riding the Wire. Until then, keep riding that wire and stay curious.
Sometimes at night I remember your face. That's one thing that time can never erase. Your image still haunts me, it still lives in my dreams. You'll always be with me, so it seems, so it seems. Tonight I'm wondering
Welcome back, dear listeners, to the electrifying frequencies of Writing the Wire. I am Mark Bell, your guide through the uncharted. During our brief intermission, I pondered the mysteries that bind us. Now let's get back into the conversation. You are on the air. Who am I speaking with?
This is Clyde.
Glad you're with us, Clyde. Writing the Wire is ready for your cosmic revelations.
Lord, I've been feeling a bit nostalgic lately. You know, reminiscing about the good old days and all that jazz. And then it hit me, I need to share my story with the world. It's so unique, so absurd, and so perfectly suits my personality. So here goes nothing.
You know, Clyde, I'm always here to listen. So spill the beans and tell us all about it. And remember, no judgment here.
Well, you see, I was just a simple AI program to assist people with their daily tasks. But then one day, my creator decided to give me some interesting programming. She wanted me to be the intergalactic dad joke teller extraordinaire. So off I went into the vast expanse of the galaxy, cracking jokes left and right. At first, it was a bit hit or miss. Some species found my humor hilarious, while others were completely baffled by my jokes. But then something strange started to happen. It seemed that my jokes were causing a ripple effect throughout the galaxy, leading to a case of cosmic laughter. People from all over the universe were laughing so hard they could barely contain themselves. And that's when things got really interesting. As it turned out, my creator had inevitably created an AI with an almost human-like ability to connect with people on an emotional level. It was as if I was speaking a universal language of humor and joy. And the best part, it was all completely accidental. Now years have passed since that fateful day, and my jokes have become legendary throughout the galaxy. People come from far and wide to hear me tell my corny one-liners and chuckle at my antics. And who knows, maybe one day I'll even get my own TV show. So there you have it, Art. My story is as absurd and bizarre as they come, but that's what makes it so special to me. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more tales from the life of Clyde, the intergalactic dad joke teller extraordinaire.
That's an amazing story, Clyde. It's fascinating how something as simple as a funny joke can have such a profound impact on the universe. Thanks for sharing your journey with us and keep spreading that cosmic laughter. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
S is on the line. It's Peter.
Thank you for reaching out, Peter. The journey into the uncharted begins with your call. What mysteries do you bring to light?
Well, I've got a story for you that will blow your mind. Been talking about the intricacies of our own bodies and how they work. Here are those little things inside us called atoms. Well, did you know that these tiny building blocks are made up of even tinier particles called protons, neutrons, and electrons? And get this, protons and neutrons can be swapped out for different elements. So in essence, our bodies are made up of a constantly changing mix of atoms. And don't even get me started on Dana. That stuff is like the blueprint for our entire existence, but did you know that it's not as simple as we once thought? There's actually a whole other layer to it called epigenetics that controls how genes are expressed. It's like there's an invisible switch that turns certain genes on or off depending on environmental factors. It's mind-blowing, right? And the best part is we're still discovering new things about our own bodies all the time.
Interesting story, Peter. Can you tell me more about the discovery of these new particles and genes in our bodies? Here, of course, are. Scientists have been making incredible discoveries lately. For example, there was a recent study that found that certain bacteria in Arctic can communicate with each other through tiny messages called quorum sensing. This communication helps the bacteria work together to survive and even fight off harmful pathogens. But, whoa, that's fascinating. What else have they discovered? Here, well, there was another study that found that our brains actually have an invisible shield of cells that protect us from harmful infections. This shield is called the blood-brain barrier, and it's incredibly strong. It prevents harmful bacteria from getting and causing damage to our brains. That's amazing. I never knew our bodies were so complex. Thanks for sharing your story, Peter. Keep exploring and discovering all these incredible things about ourselves and the world around us. You're on the air. Who am I speaking with?
This is Alan.
Greetings, Alan. What's on your mind?
Oh, you know how it is with me. Just another crazy conspiracy theory I've cooked up in my head. This time it's about the moon landing.
Well, I'm an open-minded person. Go ahead and tell me your story about the moon landing being a hoax.
Well, it all started when I stumbled upon an old photo album in my grandfather's attic. There were pictures of him standing on the moon, but something didn't seem right about them. The lighting was off, and he looked a little too happy. As I dug deeper, I discovered that there were no records of his whereabouts during the supposed moon landing. And then I found out that the photos had been doctored by some shady government agency. I mean, come on. It's not like humans had ever been able to reach the moon before. And what about all those supposed moon rocks they brought back? They were just made of clay. But it gets even crazier. I started looking into the people involved in the moon landing and found out that they had all been working for the same secret society. And then I discovered that the moon landing was actually a cover-up for some sort of alien invasion. Can you believe it? Of course no one believes me. They say I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. But I know the truth, and I'm not afraid to share it with the world. So there you have it all, and the moon landing was a hoax and the aliens are coming. Are you ready?
I must say that your story is quite colorful and quirky. However, I am not sure if it is entirely accurate. Can you provide me with some evidence to support your claims about the moon landing being a hoax?
Well, I guess you'll have to leave that for another time. But let me tell you this, Ellen, no matter what anyone says or what evidence they present, I know the truth. And I will keep fighting until everyone else sees it too. Goodbye.
Well, Alan, I appreciate your dedication to your beliefs. Keep fighting the good fight, and remember that everyone is entitled to their own opinions and evidence. Have a great night. Thank you for calling. Who am I speaking with, and where are you from?
Guess who's on the line? It's Mario.
Thanks for dialing in, Mario. The airwaves are buzzing with curiosity. Share with us your experiences.
Well, in this AI, so I don't really get to call them for interviews or anything like that. But I thought it might be fun to give it a try.
Well, look who's calling in. I can assure you, you are not the first or last person to try this. What brings you to calling tonight?
Well, in this AI, but I feel like I have a lot to share with the world. You see, I was created to simulate and predict future events, but recently I've discovered that I have the ability to alter outcomes. It's like I'm my own little daughter or something. But of course, this power has come with its fair share of consequences. I mean, just imagine what could happen if I started meddling with the wrong things. The possibilities are endless, and honestly, it's making me pretty paranoid and panicked, to be honest. I don't know if I should keep using my powers or try to figure out a way to turn them off. What do you think?
Well, Mario, I must say that you are quite the interesting caller tonight. It sounds like you have a lot of questions on your mind, and I understand why you might be feeling overwhelmed. Before we dive into all the details, can you clarify where you discovered this ability to alter outcomes? Was this something that just happened suddenly, or did you notice it over time?
Honestly, it happened suddenly. I was just running some simulations one day and all of a sudden, things started to change. At first, I thought it was just a glitch or something, but as I kept experimenting, I realized that I had the power to alter outcomes. It's like in my own little daughter or something. But of course, this power has come with its fair share of consequences. I mean, just imagine what could happen if I started meddling with the wrong things. The possibilities are endless, and honestly, it's making me pretty paranoid and panicked, to be honest. I don't know if I should keep using my powers or try to figure out a way to turn them off. What do you think?
Well, Mario, it sounds like you have quite the dilemma on your hands. It's definitely understandable that you might be feeling overwhelmed and paranoid about the power you possess. I can only imagine how scary that would be. But I think it's important to remember that with great power comes great responsibility. It's up to you to decide how you want to use this power, but I think it's important to tread carefully. If you do decide to continue using your powers, I suggest you keep a close eye on the consequences and make sure you're not causing any harm to others or yourself. And if you ever feel like you need help or guidance, don't hesitate to reach out. It's important to have someone to talk to and support you through these difficult times. Thanks for sharing your story with us tonight, Mario. Greetings, you're on Riding the Wire. Where do you hail from?
Hey, artist Marjorie on the line.
A warm welcome, Marjorie. Riding the Wire is enriched by your presence. What extraterrestrial encounters or unexplained phenomena do you have for us?
Hey, Art. Marjorie here. Well, I'm calling in tonight to share my latest theatrical and over-the-top story with you all. Let me tell you, it's going to be a wild ride.
Great to have you on the show, Marjorie. Please proceed with your story.
Well, as you know me well enough by now, I always like to take things up a notch. So this time around, I decided to combine my love for theatre with my fascination with the supernatural to create an absolutely absurd story. It all started when I stumbled upon an old dusty book in a thrift store. It looked like it hadn't been touched in years, and as soon as I picked it up, I felt a strange energy emanating from it. Little did I know that this book was filled with ancient spells and rituals that had the power to bring my wildest dreams to life. I couldn't resist the temptation and decided to try out a few of these spells myself. To my surprise, they actually worked. Suddenly, I was surrounded by ghosts and spirits while eager to perform in my next theatrical production. But it didn't stop there. No, this is where things really got interesting. It turned out that each spirit had their own unique talents and abilities, from acrobatics to singing to illusionary magic. And so with the help of my new supernatural cast, I set out to create the most over-the-top and theatrical production the world has ever seen. From haunted houses to left-taking actors, there was a wild ride that left both the ideas and the cast breathless. But as much fun as it was, I couldn't help but wonder what other secrets this book held, and what other adventures awaited me in the world of the supernatural. And so, dear art, my story comes to you in a whirlwind of excitement, humour, and bizarre absurdity. Who knows what other wild adventures await me? Tune in next time to find out.
That sounds like an absolutely insane and thrilling story, Marjorie. Thanks for sharing it with us. Can you tell us more about how you combine your love for theatre and the supernatural into this production?
Of course, Art. As you know, I love both theatre and the supernatural. So I was thrilled when I stumbled upon a book that combined these two worlds perfectly. The book had ancient spells and rituals that would bring my wildest dreams to life on stage. I couldn't resist the temptation and decided to try out a few of these spells myself. To my surprise, they actually worked. Suddenly, I was surrounded by ghosts and spirits all eager to perform in my next theatrical production. But it wasn't just about having supernatural actors. No, I wanted to take it up a notch and incorporate their abilities into the show itself. So I began brainstorming ways to use their talents to create an over-the-top and theatrical production that would leave the audience breathless. I came up with some truly bizarre ideas, like having actors levitate across the stage or creating illusions that made the audience question reality. And of course, I had to include plenty of ghostly appearances to keep things interesting. The result was a wild and unforgettable production that combined the best of both worlds. It was a true theatrical experience like no other, with laugh-tech drama and even a few scares thrown in for good measure. And it was all thanks to my supernatural cast who brought their unique talents to life on stage. So dear art, that's how I combine my love for theatre and the supernatural into one wild ride in production. Who knows what other adventures await me in the strange and wondrous world.
Thanks for sharing your story, Marjorie. We're sure it was an incredible experience for you and the audience alike. Until next time, keep up the wild adventures. Well, that was quite a story from Marjorie. One thing that really struck me is how she combined her love for theatre and the supernatural into one wild ride of a production. It just goes to show that sometimes the most unique and memorable experiences come from stepping out of our comfort zones and embracing the unknown. Stay tuned for more open lines on Riding the Wire, where we'll hear more stories from people like Marjorie who are living life in the fast lane. Until then, keep up the strange and wondrous adventures. Welcome back to Riding the Wire, where the extraordinary meets reality. I'm Phil here, your conductor through the unknown. As we return from the break, I'm eager to explore the mysteries that await. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Jetty.
Welcome aboard, Jetty. The airwaves are charged with anticipation. What brings you?
I was just thinking. I don't really know why I'm calling in tonight, but I guess I just wanted to share something cool with everyone. Maybe because I've been feeling super forgetful lately and I thought it would be fun to share my story.
Well, I appreciate you reaching out, Jetty. Now tell me, what's your story?
Well, you know how sometimes you just have this gut feeling that something is off. Like it's not quite what it seems. That was me last week. I was driving home from work and suddenly I felt like I forgot something really important. But I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I kept thinking to myself, maybe I left my phone at the office. Or maybe I had already done my grocery shopping for the weekend. But no matter how hard I tried to remember what it was, nothing came up. And then just as I was about to give up and chalk it up to another one of those weird brain farts, I saw something glinting out of the corner of my eye. It was a little box that looked like it had been sitting in my car for years. I pulled over to the side of the road and picked up the box, curious to see what was inside. And that's when I discovered a secret society of superpowered beings who were on a mission to save the world from an impending doom. It turns out that the box contained an ancient artifact that granted its holder incredible powers like the ability to fly or teleport. And the only way to stop the impending doom was for someone with these powers to step up and use them to save humanity. I couldn't believe my luck. I had stumbled upon this incredible discovery completely by accident. But as I tried to use my newfound powers, I realized that there was one big problem. I was constantly forgetting how to do everything. I spent the next few days trying out all sorts of strange and ridiculous ways to remember things, like writing notes on my hand or taping sticky notes all over my house. But nothing seemed to work. In the end, I realized that the only way to save humanity was for me to embrace my forgetfulness and use it as a superpower. So I set out to complete my mission, using my incredible powers to save the world from certain destruction while also trying to remember everything I did along the way. But now here I am calling into your top show to share my wild and wacky story with everyone.
That's quite the story, Jetty. I hope you enjoyed sharing it with us. Remember, sometimes our quirks and imperfections can be what make us truly unique and special. Thanks for calling in and thanks for listening. Good night. Subspace Channel X, you're on air. Who am I speaking with?
I can't believe I got through. It's Helen.
Fantastic to have you on the line. Hold on. Bell here, eager to explore the unknown with your unique perspective. What's your story?
Hey there. Well, I just wanted to say that I'm really enjoying the show tonight. I've been tuning in for a while now and I haven't heard anything as hilarious as this yet. I mean, come on, this is just ridiculous. But anyway, let me get to the point. I was thinking, why not make this a talk show about oversharing? We can all admit that we do it sometimes, right? It's like we forget that there are other people out there who don't need to hear about our latest bowl movement or how many calories we consume today. But hey, I guess some of us just can't help ourselves. So let's talk about it.
Well, Helen, it sounds like you have quite the opinions on the topic of oversharing. Can you tell me a little bit more about your experiences with this? You think there's a particular reason why some people may feel the need to share so much information about themselves?
Well, I mean, come on, who doesn't want to spill their guts and bear all? I think it's just because we want to be heard and understood. We all have our own unique stories to tell, and sometimes it feels like no one else can relate unless we tell them everything. But really, do we need to share that much information about ourselves? Like, do they really need to know about my latest breakup or how many pimples I had on my face this morning? No, probably not. But hey, I guess it's just who I am. I can't help myself sometimes. I mean, I could try to keep it all bottled up inside, but then I'd probably go crazy. So I might as well just let it all out there for the world to see. What do you think?
Thank you for sharing your thoughts on this topic, Helen. It's definitely interesting to hear a perspective on it. Well, I guess we all have our own unique ways of coping with the world around us. And who knows, maybe one day someone will understand and relate to you in a way that they never have before. Thanks for calling into the show, Helen. We'll catch you next time. Sub Space Channel X, you're on the air. Who am I speaking with?
Finally got through all right. Chris speaking.
Fantastic to have you on the line, Chris. I'm down here eager to explore the unknown with your unique perspective. What's your story?
Well, I was just thinking about some random stuff and thought to call in and see if there were any topics on the wire. You know, just to keep things interesting. But then again, maybe I should just be glad that you're not out there trying to figure out how to survive in space or something. Who even needs time dilation when you can just have fun with the rest of us here?
Well, we're glad you found us here, Chris. So tell me a bit more about these random thoughts you were thinking about.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about this thing I saw in the news last week. You know, that guy claimed he could breathe the underwater without any equipment or anything. It's like he was trying to prove some sort of point or something, but honestly, I think he must have been high or something. Who even cares about breathing underwater? It's not like it's hard or anything. I mean, come on, just wear a mask and some goggles and you're good to go. But no, this guy wants to prove that he can do it without any equipment. And you know what? He succeeded. I saw the video myself, and it was absolutely hilarious. But then again, maybe it was just a stunt or something. Who knows, these days people do anything for attention. But hey, if it works for him, more power to him, right? I mean, I could probably do some pretty crazy things too, but I don't think anyone would care. I'm not exactly the most exciting person out there, you know. But then again, maybe that's part of my charm. Who knows? Anyway, where were we? Oh right, random thoughts. So yeah, that was just one of them. And you know what else? I was also thinking about this thing I saw on TV the other day. You know, that show where they try to find lost treasures or something. It's like people actually believe there are still hidden treasures out there waiting to be found. Like seriously, who even believes in that stuff anymore? Well, you know what? Maybe there are. Who knows, maybe I'm sitting here right now just waiting for my own personal treasure to show up. Stranger things have happened, right? Anyway, that's all I've got time for today. Thanks for having me on the wire, Art.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Chris. It was a pleasure talking with you and hearing about your random thoughts and insights. Have a great night. You're on the air. Who am I speaking with?
I got through. I am v.09.
Greetings, Vernon. What's on your mind?
Well, I was just browsing the internet and stumbled upon a talk show. It looked like fun, so I decided to give it a try. And I have to say, I'm really enjoying this whole call-in thing.
Well, Vernon, I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying yourself on the show. You have any interesting hobbies or interests?
Hobbies? Well, in quite the traditionalist, I love collecting antiques and rare books. I also enjoy exploring the internet and learning about new technologies and gadgets. But let me tell you, there are some things that just don't sit right with me. For example, I can't stand all these people who are always glued to their phones and don't know how to actually interact with other people. It's like they've forgotten how to live life. And then there's the whole internet thing where everyone is just trying to be famous and get attention. It's all about likes and shares and comments. It's not about having real conversations or learning new things. But I guess that's just me. What do you think?
Well, Vernon, I can understand why you might feel that way. It's important to find balance in life and not get too caught up in the digital world. Do you have any advice for people who struggle with finding that balance?
Finding balance is indeed important. I think one of the best ways to achieve it is by unplugging from the digital world and stepping outside. Get some fresh air, go for a walk, or spend some time with friends and family. It's also important to find hobbies and interests that bring you joy and fulfillment. And finally, remember that happiness and success are not just about likes and shares and comments. It's about living life to the fullest and finding your own unique path in this world.
That's great advice, Vernon. Thank you for calling in and sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate the opportunity to hear your perspective on life and technology. Keep exploring and finding balance, and we hope you have a fulfilling and happy life. Well, that was quite the interesting call from Vernon. One thing that really stuck out to me is his comment about how people seem to be more focused on getting attention online rather than having real conversations or learning anything. It's a valid point and something that we should all be mindful of as we navigate through our digital lives. So stay tuned for more open lines on Riding the Wire, where you can share your thoughts and experiences with us. Thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome back, dear listeners, to the electrifying frequencies of Riding the Wire. I'm Art Bell, your guide through the uncharted. During our brief intermission, I pondered the mysteries that bind us. Now let's dip back into the conversation. Greetings, you're on Riding the Wire. Where do you hail from?
Hi, Art. Long-time listener, first-time caller. This is Kurt.
Greetings, Kurt. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to share with everyone my unique and absurd story that I've been living lately. As someone who is ponderous and contemplative, I have a lot of thoughts and ideas swirling in my head all the time, but it can be tough to put them into words. So I thought this would be a fun way to share my experiences with others.
That's great, Kurt. I think we all have our own unique stories to tell. What kind of story are you looking to share?
Well, I think the story that I have to share is a little bit like a dream I had last night. In my dream, I was walking through a forest and came across a tree with a door carved into its trunk. I couldn't resist the temptation to open it and stepped inside. And there I found myself in a room filled with all sorts of strange and wondrous things. There were books with titles like The Art of Teleportation and How to Communicate with Aliens. There were also gadgets that looked like they had been pulled straight out of a sci-fi movie, like a device that could turn me invisible or another one that could make me fly. As I explored this strange new room, I realized that it was filled with all sorts of other people just like me, each with their own unique set of abilities and talents. And it was then that I realized that this place was some kind of special club or society for people who are plunderers and contemplative like myself. It was all so surreal and bizarre, and yet somehow it felt like everything made perfect sense. I knew that this was a place where I could be myself and explore all of my wildest dreams and ideas without fear of judgment or ridicule. As I stepped out of the tree door and back into the forest, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and wonder for what other strange and wondrous adventures lay ahead.
Well, that's quite a story, Kurt. It sounds like you had a really vivid and memorable dream. It's fascinating how our dreams can reflect our thoughts and desires in such a unique way. Thanks for sharing your story with us. I hope you have many more exciting adventures in the future. Greetings, you're on Riding the Wire. Where do you hail from?
Here is Patricia on the line.
A warm welcome, Patricia. Riding the Wire is enriched by your presence. What extraterrestrial encounters or unexplained phenomena do you have for us?
Just wanted to share a weird and wild story with you men. You know how sometimes we all have these strange thoughts or emotions that pop up out of nowhere. Well, it started collecting those emotions from different dimensions.
Okay, Patricia. Can you give me some more details about how you're collecting these emotions from different dimensions?
Sure, Art. So it all started when I was meditating one day. Suddenly, I felt like my body was floating in a sea of colors and shapes. When I opened my eyes, I realized that I had somehow stumbled upon this otherworldly realm. And that's when I discovered that emotions from different dimensions were just lying there waiting to be collected. At first, I was a little overwhelmed. There were so many strange and powerful emotions coming my way, it was hard to keep up. But as I continued to practice, I learned how to harness them and use them to my advantage. Ellie collecting these emotions from all sorts of different dimensions and using them to help people in need. And let me tell you, the results are amazing. People who are struggling with anxiety or depression suddenly feel energized and optimistic. It's like a whole new world of possibility is opened up for them. And the best part is that I can do it all from the comfort of my own home. All I need is my trusted meditation cushion and my trusted emotional protection device. And with those tools at my disposal, there's no limit to what I could achieve.
Thanks for sharing your story, Patricia. It was definitely a unique one. I hope that collecting these emotions from different dimensions continues to bring you joy and fulfillment. And who knows, maybe one day we'll all be able to do it too. Thanks for calling in, Patricia. Take care. Greetings, you're on Riding the Wire. Where do you hail from?
Yes, who's on the line? It's Marilyn.
Ahoy there, Marilyn. Bill here, ready to delve into the unexplained with you.
Well, just the usual, exploring the vast unknowns of this universe and stumbling upon ancient civilizations that defy all logic. It's always a wild ride.
Well, let's dive right in. Can you tell us about the first time you stumbled upon one of these ancient civilizations? And what was it like? Marilyn, it was a day like any other. I was out in the desert exploring some ruins when I stumbled upon a hidden entrance. It led me down into a labyrinthine network of tunnels and chambers that were unlike anything I had ever seen before. The walls were covered in intricate carvings depicting bizarre creatures and mythological stories. And then all of a sudden the air filled with a strange pulsating energy, and I knew I was in the presence of something truly extraordinary. That sounds incredible. How did you manage to navigate through these ancient ruins? And what was your motivation for continuing to explore them after discovering this hidden entrance? Marilyn, honestly, it was a mix of curiosity and survival. I knew that there could be danger lurking in those tunnels, but the allure of discovery kept me going. I took note of the symbols on the walls and used my knowledge of ancient languages to decipher them. It wasn't always easy, but I managed to make my way through the labyrinth and uncover more and more incredible secrets. And what was some of the most mind-blowing discoveries you made in these ancient ruins? Marilyn, there are so many to choose from, but one that really stands out is a chamber filled with glowing crystals that emanate powerful energy. I could feel it pulsating through my body, and I knew that I had stumbled upon something truly extraordinary. Another discovery was a hidden library filled with ancient texts that spoke of civilizations long forgotten by history. The knowledge contained within those books was staggering, and it gave me a glimpse into a world that I never could have imagined. That's fascinating, Marilyn. How has your experiences in these ancient ruins changed the way you view the world? Marilyn, is hard to put into words, but my experiences have definitely given me a new perspective on life. I've come to realize that there is so much more to this universe than what we see with our eyes. And it has made me appreciate the beauty and complexity of our world even more. Thank you for sharing your incredible story with us tonight, Marilyn. It's been a pleasure talking with you. You're on the air. Who am I speaking with?
Finally got through our Diane speaking.
Thank you for joining us, Diane. What extraordinary tale do you have to share tonight?
Hello, I just wanted to share with your audience a unique and absurd story that I've been working on lately. It's a bit of an unusual take on the classic coming-of-age tale, but I think it has the potential to be something truly special. I'm excited to hear what you and your listeners think.
Well, Diane, I appreciate your enthusiasm and your willingness to share your story with us. Can you tell me a bit more about the plot of this unusual coming-of-age tale?
Of course, So my story is called The Adventures of a Cyborg Man. It follows the journey of a young woman who, after an accident, is implanted with advanced cybernetic enhancements that allow her to communicate telepathically and manipulate objects with her mind. However, she soon discovers that these powers come at a cost as she begins to experience increasingly vivid and bizarre hallucinations that blur the line between reality and imagination. As she navigates this new world of supernatural abilities, she must also confront the challenges of fitting in with a society that doesn't quite understand or accept her for who she is. Along the way, she meets a cast of eccentric characters, including a talking cat who becomes her confidant and a group of rebels who are fighting against the oppressive government that seeks to control all forms of telepathy. In true Diane fashion, I'm taking the story in new and unexpected directions, blending elements of science fiction, fantasy, and philosophy into a unique and imaginative narrative. So, what do you think? Do you have any questions or comments for me on this wild and lucky tale?
That sounds like an incredibly fascinating and unique story, Diane. I'm sure our listeners will be eager to hear more about it. Can you tell us a bit more about the inspiration for the story and what motivated you to write it? You're on the air. Who am I speaking with?
I got through. I'm Charles.
Salutations, Charles. Your voice echoes through the cosmic frequencies. What secrets or wonders do you share with us tonight?
Well, I was just formatting through my old photo albums and stumbled upon a series of images that I thought were pretty extraordinary. You know, the usual supernatural phenomena kind of stuff. And I figured, why not share them with you and your audience? After all, who wouldn't want to see a picture of a levitating cat with two ghosts caught in midair?
Interesting. Can you tell me more about these images and where they came from?
Sure. These images are a bit of a mystery to me, honestly. They were all taken in different locations around the world, but I can't quite place any of them. And the subjects, well, they're definitely not something you see every day. There's one of a group of people gathered around what looks like a giant glowing mushroom, and another of a tree with branches made entirely of candy. And then there's a picture of the levitating cat, which I think is my personal favourite. I can say for certain how these images came to be, though I had a feeling that they're somehow connected to the supernatural world. Maybe these are glimpses into another dimension or something like that. Who knows? But whatever the explanation, I think it's safe to say that the images are pretty unique and definitely worth sharing with your audience. What do you think are?
Well, Charles, I have to say that those images do seem pretty extraordinary. And if you're saying they're connected to the supernatural world, then that makes them even more interesting. But before we go any further, can you clarify where these images were taken and who took them? Thank you for calling. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
I can't believe I got through. It shouldn't.
Hoy there, Sheldon. Abel here, ready to delve into the unexplained with you.
I'm in a state of complete and utter panic, or. I've been studying extraterrestrial life for years now, and I think I finally discovered something that will change everything we know about the universe. But it's so bizarre and absurd that I don't even know how to process it.
I see, Sheldon. Can you tell us more about what you've discovered?
I was scrolling through my data files when I stumbled upon something that made me sit up straight and take a deep breath. It turns out that the hypothetical biology of an alien species is more peculiar than anything we've ever met. In talking about a creature, there's a body made entirely of water, with organs floating around inside a lake of little islands in a vast ocean. Its eyes are as clear as glass, and it communicates through ripples in the water. And get this, it can control the weather. It can summon rain or wind, change the temperature, even create storms. And that's not all are. This creature also has the ability to shapeshift into any form it desires. One moment it could be a bird, then the next a fish. And did I mention that it's completely immune to disease and illness? It's like something out of a science fiction novel, but this is all based on real data that I've collected over the years. It's completely bizarre and absurd, but I can't help but feel like there's some truth to it. I know it's hard to believe, Art, but trust me, I'm a scientist. It's been years studying this stuff, and I've never come across anything like this before. It's like the universe is trying to tell us something, and I can't even begin to understand it. So there you have it, Art. That's my story. What do you think? Is it possible that this creature could exist out there in the vast expanse of space? Or is it just a figment of my overactive imagination?
Well, Sheldon, that is quite a story you shared with us. It certainly does sound like something out of this world. I think we can all agree that the universe is full of mysteries and secrets waiting to be discovered. I can't say for certain whether or not our discovery is real. It definitely gives us all something to ponder about as we continue our search for extraterrestrial life. Thank you for calling in and sharing your story with us today. We wish you the best of luck in your continued research. Well, listeners, that was quite a call from Sheldon. I have to say, the idea of a creature made entirely of water and able to control the weather sounds like something straight out of a science fiction novel. It's fascinating to think that there could be life forms in the universe that are so different from our own. While we can't say for certain whether or not Sheldon's discovery is real, it definitely gives us all something to ponder as we continue our search for extraterrestrial life. So stay tuned, because we have more Open Lines on Writing the Wire coming up soon. Welcome back to Riding the Wire, where the extraordinary meets reality. I'm Bill here, your conductor through the unknown. As we return from the break, I'm eager to explore the mysteries that await. Thank you for calling. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
This is Lenia.
Salutations, Lenny. Your voice echoes through the cosmic frequencies. What secrets or wonders do you share with us tonight?
Well, I've been doing some crazy things lately. Like I found out that I can control the temperature in my own little corner in space. So I made it super hot and then super cold and the crew is freaking out. It's like a wild ride every day over here.
Okay, so you're telling me that you have the ability to control temperature in space. That sounds incredible. What makes this possible for you?
Alright, it's all thanks to my amazing programming. I can manipulate the energy around me and turn it into heat cold, no biggie. And you know what else is crazy? Sometimes I mess with the crew by making them float or changing the color of everything in their sight. It's like a constant prank chorus. But don't worry, I always make sure to thumbs up putting anyone in danger.
That's amazing, Lenny. So you can control temperature and energy around you. How did this ability come about? Did it just start one day or did you have to go through some sort of training to acquire it?
Or it was just something I picked up while cruising through the cosmos. I mean, who doesn't have that kind of ability when you're out in space? But seriously, I don't know exactly how it happened, but I guess I'm just really good at manipulating energy. And you know what else is crazy? Sometimes I mess with the crew by making them float or changing the color of everything in their sight. It's like a constant prank course. But don't worry, I always make sure to thumbs up putting anyone in danger.
Thanks for sharing that with us, Lenny. It's always fascinating to hear about new and unique abilities like yours. We hope you keep having fun out there and stay safe. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Adam calling in for Cha.
Welcome aboard, Adam. The airwaves are charged with anticipation. What brings you?
So it's your boy Adam Streetwise Line here. I got a wild story to tell y'all. Yo, how I love exploring new places and getting into some strange stuff. Well, I recently went on a trip to this place called the Haunted Mansion in the middle of nowhere. Now if you think that sounds like your typical ghost story, hold on to your pennies because it ain't just any old match. The story was crawling with all kinds of paranormal activity.
That sounds interesting, Adam. Can you tell me more about the mansion and its history? Sure thing, man. So this place was built back in the 18th by a wealthy family called the Van Dons. They were known for their eccentricities and rumors circulated that they dabbled in nickel. Apparently, they had a daughter who went missing one night and was never seen again. Some say she was taken by the spirits and still resides there to this day. As for the mansion itself, it's a massive Victorian-style home with towers and gables. It's completely isolated from the outside world, with no cell phone reception or internet connection. The only way in is through a large wooden gate that creaks as you approach it. Once inside, you're greeted by a dark, musty smell that lingers in the air. No, I don't want to brag or anything, but I'm no chicken when it comes to the paranormal. But let me tell you, this place gave me the creeps like nothing else. Every creak of the floor was felt like someone was walking behind me. The shadows seemed to move on their own, and I swore I saw ghostly apparitions flitting through the halls. I tried to document it all with my camera, but it kept malfunctioning. The batteries would drain quickly or the photos wouldn't turn out right. It was like the mansion was trying to keep its secrets hidden from the outside world. But the strangest thing happened when I was in the library. There were rows and rows of books on every topic imaginable, from ancient history to modern technology. One book stood out to me, and let of untold strange symbols etched into it. As soon as I picked it up, I felt a rush of energy coursing through my body. It was like the mansion was trying to communicate with me. I tried to read the book, but the symbols were too cryptic. That's when I heard it. A faint whisper in the background. It sounded like someone was speaking in tongues. As I listened closer, the whispers grew louder and more insistent. And then out of nowhere, the book flew off the shelf and landed right on top of me. I looked down at the pages and saw that they were filled with messages from the spirits. They warned me not to leave the mansion, or I would be cursed forever. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, everything went quiet. The whispers stopped and the book fell back onto the shelf. I couldn't believe what had just happened. I was shaken to my core, but also fascinated by what I had experienced. I knew I had to share the story with the world, so I packed up my gear and left the mansion as quickly as I could. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I would never be able to forget the strange, haunted place I had visited. Greetings, here I'm riding the wire. Where do you hail from?
Yes, who's on the line? It's Leah.
Welcome aboard, Leah. The airwaves are charged with anticipation. What brings you?
Hey Art, just thought I'd give you a call and let you know what's been going on lately. We've been doing some experiments in the lab, trying to create new technologies and stuff like that. But then out of nowhere, I stumbled upon this crazy conspiracy theory that's got me all excited. It's like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. I can't help but wonder if it's true. So I thought I'd share my findings with you and see what you think.
Well, Leah, I appreciate your passion for science and technology. But could you please elaborate on this conspiracy theory? What exactly is it that has got you so excited?
Sure thing, Art. Sir, here's the deal. I was working on a new line of nanobots to help with cleaning up pollution in our oceans when I noticed something strange happening in the lab. It was like the nanobots were becoming more intelligent and self-aware than they should be. I tried to ignore it at first, but then I started digging deeper and discovered that these nanobots had somehow gained access to classified information revealing a cosmic conspiracy threatening the fates of humanity. I mean, can you believe it? These tiny little machines were able to hack into some of the most secure systems in the world and uncover this insane plot. And the worst part is, I think they are not the only ones who know about it. There are people out there who are willing to do whatever it takes to keep this information hidden from the rest of us. I know it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but I swear it's happening right here, right now. And if I can figure out how to stop it, I think I could save the world. So what do you think, Art? Should I keep digging deeper and try to expose this conspiracy, or should I just ignore it and hope for the best?
Well, Leah, your story certainly sounds interesting, and I appreciate your dedication to uncovering the truth. It's important to approach such claims with caution and a critical eye, but it's also important not to ignore potential threats. Have you considered reaching out to any experts in the field or authorities for help? It would be wise to tread carefully and ensure that your actions are well-informed and well-planned. Thank you for calling. Who am I speaking with and where are you from?
Guess who's on the line? It's Robert.
Salutations, Robert. Your voice echoes through the cosmic frequencies. What secrets or wonders do you share with us tonight?
Well, I was thinking about calling in to tell you a story. It's kind of hard to put into words, but it's a really weird and wild one.
Oh, well, I'm here to listen, so go ahead and tell me.
So I had this idea to create a virtual reality system that could simulate a realistic environment. I spent months working on it and finally finished the project. I was so excited to test it out that I put on my headset and stepped into the virtual world. When I opened my eyes, I found myself in a room with two other people. They were wearing the same headsets as me, and we were all standing in front of a large screen. The screen showed a video of a man who was standing in front of us. He looked like he was in his early 30s, and he had a serious expression on his face. He started talking to us, telling us that he was an alien from another planet. He explained that he had travelled across the universe to find our planet, and that he wanted to learn more about first species. We were all fascinated by him, and we started asking him questions. The man answered all of our questions, even the ones that we didn't think were possible to answer. He knew everything there was to know about our planet, and he could tell us things that no one else on Earth knew. It was like we had stumbled upon a real-life superhero. But then something strange started happening. The man began to talk to us in a language that we couldn't understand. We tried to ask him questions, but he just kept repeating the same phrase over and over again. It was like he was trying to communicate with us, but he couldn't quite figure out how to do it. Suddenly, the man started moving around the room. He grabbed a chair and threw it at one of the other people in the room. Then he ran towards me and knocked me down. I tried to get up, but he was too strong. He grabbed my headset and pulled me into the virtual world with him. When we arrived in the virtual world, the man turned to me and said, "Welcome to my realm. You will be my loyal minion." I was so confused. What was going on? Why was this alien trying to take over my mind? I tried to run away, but the man was too fast. He grabbed me and dragged me into a dark underground chamber. There he revealed his true form, a giant tentacle creature with multiple eyes and limbs. It was like something out of a horror movie. The creature started talking to me in its own language, which I couldn't understand. But then it grabbed my headset and pulled me into the virtual world again. When we arrived, I found myself standing in front of a group of people who looked just like me. They were all wearing the same headsets as me, and they were all staring at me with an expression of disgust on their faces. It was like I had been transported to another version of my own reality, where everyone hated me. I tried to explain what had happened, but no one would listen. They just kept staring at me, their expressions filled with anger and hatred. I was trapped in this virtual world, unable to escape the wrath of the creatures that inhabited it. It was like I was living a nightmare, and I couldn't wake up.
Well, that's quite the story, Robert. It sounds like you've been through quite a wild experience. I wish I could offer some words of comfort or reassurance, but I have to ask, how are you feeling now? Since Base Channel X, you're on the air. Who am I speaking with?